Hello, everyone. I'm Fred Mayaka. I'm a father of three, a husband of one. I am a businessman, and I also assist my pastor in our local church, handling youth affairs. Uh, that brings me to the topic of the day. I would like to talk about how decisions impact lives, especially decisions one makes at their tender age. What's a decision? I had to check it out with Webster Dictionary, and it says decision is the act or process of deciding, or it's a determination arrived at after consideration. So there is a process, and there is what goes into it. Decisions are a very important aspect of life. We make them every day. The choice you make, what clothes to wear, whether you are going to eat, what you are going to eat, how you're going to eat it, that's a decision. Decisions can be good, decisions can be bad. So now, life itself, actually, it is a series of choices that we make. Every single day, these choices have consequences that are direct on us and the people dependent on us, and even those that are not dependent on us. So the choices you make as an individual affect you as an individual and affect others directly or indirectly. Making a decision can be made within a split second. Some decisions can take hours, other decisions can take a day, other decisions can take years. So there are decisions that you can make quickly, others you need a long time to decide. For example, career choices, that's a decision that one makes over a long period of time. Who you want to marry, there's a decision that you just don't wake up and say, now I'm going to marry Petronira, or I'm going to be married by Abednego, for example. It takes you a while. The career choice you make, it takes you a while. You have to look at what you love, whether you succeed in it. You have to go and study for it. Will your grades allow you to do it? There are a number of things that go into making a decision. What are some of the decisions that people make in life? I've just put a few that come to mind, like getting married. That's a life-changing decision. That's a life-changing decision. Having children, we're living in a day when people don't want to have children. So it's a big decision to have children. Yes, I want to have children. How many? 7, 17, like Susan Wesley? Or you want to have one child? And you may want to have a child, but then it's up to God who gives children. You may get or you may not get. Which church do you go to? You may say you are a Protestant. You may say you are a Muslim. You may say, yes, even Muslims, they have factions. Christians have factions. You are a Protestant. You are a Catholic. You are in the charismatic movement. Where are you? Which church do you go to? That's a decision that you have to make. Buying property. You want to buy land? You want to buy a house? You want to buy a car? That's a decision you have to make. You have to choose whether you want to save money or you want to spend it. Like, I can talk to high schoolers, for example. You are given pocket money. You can decide, I'm going to eat this money in the first week. I remember in our campus days, when you could get your help, you say now, the first week you eat kuku. The second week you start eating rice. By the third week, when the money has now come to what we call manageable levels, then you start seeing people going to have basari soup in the mess. You know, somebody and then somebody would see somebody else take rice from beginning of the semester to the end of the semester. Choices again on how to spend or to save. People make choices to quit a job. Others make choices on the kind of leaders they want. I know, like a country, we are at a point where we have to make a decision. I know there is a court case going on about the verdict of the BBI, but still, again, it's a decision that we have to make. Next year, we are going to make a decision of who's going to be our president, who's going to be our MP, who's going to be, name them. Some people are saying Kenya is a very boring, life in Kenya is very hard. You can make a decision to go abroad. You can look for a green card and say you're going to another place. You can make a decision to stand up for yourself or just wait to be trampled upon. There are people who cannot stand up for themselves. Again, it is a decision that you have to make. Are you going to let people just make you like, you are where everybody's coming and just trampling their foot on? Or you want to stand up and say, hey, look up, I am important, I have a value. Even if you step on me, my value does not change. Where will you invest your money? I'll give you a story. Another young man earned some money, about 150,000. Then he got very enthusiastic and passionate and very, these people who are smooth talkers, they told him, look, bring this money, we put it here, and you'll make it double. As we speak, he lost the 150,000. He wanted money overnight. And many Kenyans, especially young people, they want quick money. So it is a decision you have to make. Money does not just grow on trees. It is something that takes stages. You have to work. Trust the process is a common saying in the streets of Nairobi. You have to trust the process. Start from very little and just grow and grow and grow to become where you want to go. You must have a vision of where you want to go. You have to make a decision whether you want to entertain toxic friends or you want to have friends of value. They say you are an average of a sum of 5 friends you have. So if 3 of your friends are always in debt by the 5th of each month, trust me, you are going to be in debt by the 5th of each month. A decision you make. If you have friends who are always giving you, taking you out, let's just go and eat out and let's go to these places, that's the kind of friends that you get. Other people make career choices later in life. A decision. You choose to be a teacher from the time you are 21 to the time you retire. I respect them. My father retired a teacher. I respect that. I know many others who have been career bankers. It is a decision they have made. Then others, they start as teachers. They go to the bank. They leave the bank. They go to, energy industry. They leave that and go to entertainment. They are hopping from one position to the other. Choices again. But that could also be informed by maybe they have not discovered who they are and what they want in life. And that should be very important because it's something that affects many young people today. The career choice you make now will determine how your tomorrow will be. Your stability in marriage, your stability in career, your stability in your social life. What career choice do you make now? Or are you going to change it later? Other people, they're just there. They decide I don't want to have friends. I will only have friends when I need them. It's a choice again. You become a parasite. For you just want to have friends when you are in need. But when them friends are in need, you don't want to. Mimi sitaki kusumbuliwa. Kila mtu ajipange. But when you are the one wearing the shoes, then you want us to support you. Choices have consequences. I've talked about the career choices one makes when they are young. This is very important for those who are in high school and those who are starting out in life. The kind of career that you choose. What degree are you going to do? What program? Are you going to do hospitality? Are you going to do business management? Are you going to do medicine? Are you going to do architecture? Then you do architecture, you come out, you practice. After 2 years, you realize, oh, this is very hard. I didn't know this is what architecture means. Then you leave that. Then again, you start doing something else. I know of young people who have gone through college. They have been educated by their parents or siblings or guardians. They have finished the course, but then they can't do nothing with that course because they didn't choose properly. They realize, no, now I should have been a nurse, for example. Then they start again going back to school. You know what that means? There is the impact of finances. There is the impact of the age. Somebody's at 45. The government of Kenya cannot employ you, especially if you are past a certain age, because they realize you are not going to make so much a difference. I mean, you don't want to contribute towards the economy. So they say, wewe pambana na hali yako. So you need to make a good decision when you are choosing your career, when you are choosing your degree. When you leave college, you want to buy a new car, or do you want to marry, or do you want to buy a house? Again, it's a decision that you are making. The last that is very important, you have a decision to make whether to turn down an offer or to accept. Could be a career offer. Look at interviews, are two-way. You are interviewed for a certain position. When you are being interviewed, you have to look at that company, look at the culture of the place, look at the people, find out what's the work environment, what's the culture of the place. You're also doing interviewing those people before you make a decision. Don't just accept because you have seen, your gross salary is going to be 50,000 and your medical is going to be so much, and you will have a transport allowance. When you just see that and you think, oh wow, I'm going to have transport allowance and there is entertainment allowance, people just jump onto it. There are many other things that go into it. So turning down an offer or accepting it or a promotion. Let me talk about a promotion. You may say, yes, now I've accepted a promotion. You know what that means? You want to have fewer friends. The pressure is going to be high. What else? Many other things you can think of. Everybody, you want to be the representative of that organization. So it's going to confine your freedom. There are things you may want to do, but you can't do them. For example, if you choose to be a pastor, the tag of a pastor curtails your freedoms. Right? You may want to go out there and just love like everybody else, but you can't do that because you're a pastor. I've heard not once, but many times our president say how he misses his downtime life. He could want to go down and just, have one for the road and laugh out with his friends. But he can't do it. Why? He's the president. He's limited. So choices have consequences. He made a decision to be a politician. There is what has to go with it. The other one is maybe you are a lady and you have accepted an offer from this Prince Charming. Right? You are going to live with it. If you are from the Christian background like myself, we say you should have one wife like a Christian. A Christian means utakufa na yu mmoja peke yake. Hakuna reverse gear. So you realize this guy, when others are talking about how they make their hair and you can't do it because your husband tells you, you make a choice, there is 200 shillings here. Are you going to buy food or you want to make your hair? You got to choose that. An offer. Others will say, okay, ni heri kucheka kwa baiskeli kuliko kulia kwa Mercedes. Pia, that is a decision you have to make. You got to choose. Right? Accepting an offer, declining an offer can be both ways. I want to give you examples of men who have made decisions in life and how it has changed them. One good man in business comes to mind, James Mwirigi Mworia. He's the group managing director and CEO of Centum. What is it called? Centum Investment Company. It's one of the largest private-owned capital firm in Eastern Africa. This guy is the CEO of a company he joined as an intern. And he rose from being an intern to being the CEO in a span of 7 years. What does that tell you? He had a vision. He had made up his mind what he wanted to do. He did accounting. He did law. And when he got into that firm, he looked at the way things were being done and said, I can change this, I can change that, but I need to fix my eye on the goal. And what was the goal? He wanted to be on top so that he could be able to make decisions that are affecting others. Today, I think he's approaching 40, if I'm not wrong. It's 40 something. He's very young, the youngest CEO. He's earning very well. He's way up there. He has made a lot of a very big difference. The other guy who comes to mind in the business circles in our country is Benson Wairegi. This guy joined Britam. I'm sure you have heard about Britam. It's a financial services provider in this country, and it's listed on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. He joined it just as an accountant, and they were in one room. But he had a vision. He made a decision that I'm going to work here and I'm going to make this a multinational. Today, Britam is in South Sudan, it is in Uganda, it is in Tanzania, it is in Zimbabwe. It's a multinational. Now he just stepped down the other day and they've got an international guy. I think he's from Mozambique, if I'm not wrong. He's the new group managing director. I mean, he has built such a mammoth company. He made a decision at a tender age of what he wanted. In politics, I don't want to use examples in Kenya because I know it's very motive. I will use Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was a self-taught lawyer. He looked at the situation in America during that time. He was the 16th president of America. And he looked at how things were happening and they said, no, it cannot continue like this. He said, one day I shall give my blood for this. And when he became president, he stopped slavery in America. Actually, the black Americans really salute him a lot because they find whenever they go to the museums and they look at his coat when he was assassinated and it is blood stained, they look at him and they shed tears. He made a decision as a young man that is going to change lives. The other guy coming closer home is Nelson Mandela, the peace icon. He stayed in incarceration for a long time. But he had made a decision that he's going to forgive people. He forgave them and he came back. He brought a united country, told them, you don't have to kill people. Let's do it peacefully. Now, what about some decisions that were made since time immemorial that have affected us? Those of you who read the Bible, you know that today we serve the way we serve because of what Adam did and Eve. A decision. Adam was very young, I could say. He decided to side with the wife, and that's why we suffer today. Those of you who read the Bible, telling you, as a young man, the decision you want to make as a young man, choose to learn around, choose to live a reckless life, you'll pay for it. For sure, you'll pay for it here. Look at Abraham and Sarah. You know, they had lived a very good life. They were young. God promised them they will be father and mother of nations. But then Sarah was so quick to interpret what God was saying to Abraham. He told him, look, I cannot get a child and I'm very old. Why don't you take this lady here? And maybe that's what God meant. And you know why Israel is ever fighting with enemies? Because of a decision that Sarah and Abraham made. It brought Isaac and brought Ishmael. That's why we have hostility the way we do in the Middle East today. An example of a living decision, a decision that was made by someone and it is affecting us today. Another young man that comes to mind, not a young man though, Saint Paul of the Old Testament. Before he became Saint Paul, he was called Paul of Tarsus. This man had decided that he's going to be on fire for God all his life. He even decided not to marry. He lived and he was saying, I'm serving God. He was persecuting Christians and he thought he was serving God. He had made a decision. I want you to note what I'm saying there. Paul made a decision to serve God. And he did it the best he knew how until he met with God. So as a young man, you need to make a decision and decide, I'm going to do this, whatever it costs me. Right? And stand with it. He went for the letters from the high priest and he was taking Christians and locking them up until he came face to face with the Lord Jesus Christ himself and told him, Paul, You cannot prick. You are kicking against pricks, and you will just hurt yourself. An example of decisions that were made by Paul. And you know what happened? He wrote the New Testament. Most of the epistles in the New Testament were written by this man called Paul. I want to bring it closer home. In this country, there is a great man that I admire. He's a pastor of Capstone Faith Ministries. He's called Pastor Obadiah Kamwati. He's a man who started out, got a good career as a banker, but had a calling to be a pastor. He became a pastor at the age of 21. And today, this nation, men and women of substance, have grown because of his influence. He made a very good decision at a tender age. Today, you tell young men to come up and serve the Lord. They're saying, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. You know, I will do that tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. When tomorrow comes, your face will be wrinkled and you will not be able to think straight and fast as a young man. It reminds me of Ecclesiastes chapter 9, I think it is. It says, young man, serve the Lord before the days are over. I want to finish by giving you an example of your home. Look at your home. Look at your dad. Look at your mom. Look at your relatives. Look at your friends. Your father made a decision to marry one wife, two wives, three wives. You know how many wives your father has. Your mother decided to be married by this man, left her, married by another man, left her, married by another man, left her. You know how the family is. Another man decided to say, no, me, I'm going to have one wife, and he has one wife, and I'm going to have two children, and they have two children. And you know the example. Look at it. I just want to show you, I'm not making you feel bad about your home, but I want you to look at decisions that are affecting you. My father could have decided to marry three wives, for example. What does that mean? The family finances are going to be divided among us three wives. Each wife gets, say, 5 children. How many children are those? 15. Are you seeing how decisions are affecting the family resources? Another uncle decided, me, I'm not going to marry. I will marry after I've finished college. And then after I've got my career and I've settled down and married at the age of, say, 42. Now, when you look at him and myself, we are raising families together. That's very interesting. Choices. Now, I'm growing with my family. He's past retirement age, but he's still growing his family. So, there are repercussions for the decisions that you make. And now, the impact of decisions can be short-term or can be long-term. For example, today a young man once says, mnatukazia maisha sana, mimi nataka kutembea hapa kila mahali. You know, there is this aspect of free love today. You just want to move with Njeri, and you want to move with the Wamboi, and you want to move with the Kwamboka. And you know, wherever he is, when he's in the campus, he's like the cockerel. He has gone everywhere and gone around, and he has hired wild hordes everywhere. You know what? That will catch up with you. These ladies will be coming to you and asking for child support. Yes, you are feeling like the cock, but when they come to you with child support and you are earning a mere 50,000, then you have to divide it among us 3 ladies. And the one says, me, I want my child to go to McKinney School. Another one says, me, I want my child to go to Brook House. Decisions have consequences. So as I come to conclude, I'd like to say that the impact of our decisions can be short-term, or we can call it temporary, or long-term, that is permanent. I've given you the example of a young man who chooses because of the hormones driving him. He feels he can just grab any girl and have his way with her the way he wants. The temporary impact is you feel, there's the instant gratification. But the permanent change would be that you will have changed the life of a young girl or the life of a young woman, will have changed the trajectory of how is tomorrow will be like. So those are things that we need to look at. So as I make a final appeal to the young people, most important to the young people, of course, we have every 7 years there is a change. Every 7 years there is a change in life. So most of the decisions that we make when we are young, we come to live with the impacts when we grow old. For example, if as a young man you choose to go to school, put all the effort on your studies, finish studies, start out your career, get your career in place, then maybe settle down instead of, taking Nelly out today, tomorrow you're taking Jerry, the other day you're taking Adhiambo out. I mean, choose, decide who, and settle down. Because the main thing is, I know, for many young people is sex. But remember, you can't have your cake and eat it at the same time. You got to choose. In times past, virginity was a subject that was so valued. The morality of the young people was so valued. Up to they could go and look for a skin when a young man marries and put on their bed. And the ladies would just come and look at it and say, yes, this man was chaste or this woman was chaste. So they ask for your father, if you are a girl, if you are a boy, they ask for more cows. Where I come from, I don't know, maybe they may be asking for goats or a sheep or whatever. But the point was, they wanted more for the dowry that they had paid because they had given you something that is valuable. But if they found that you are loose, then you have to pay for it. Actually, they will take back what they had given and you are chased away because you are brought reproach. But today, oh, poor today, may God help us, because today it will take you ages, it will take you many years to find a young man who's chaste, a young girl who's a virgin. Actually, it is something to be ashamed of today to be a virgin. God have mercy on the young people. That if you have never had sex, you are looked at and people frown at you. You look like you're an outcast. Again, choices have consequences. I will give you an example of the choices, the sex consequences that one gets. I want to give an example of Petronida, who dates a tall, handsome, black young man. They push for 6 months. She dumps him. And then he again gets another gentleman, maybe from Kitui. Kitui knows how to talk very nicely. And Kitui, this gentleman from Kitui is maybe short and plump. Remember, he had a sex experience with the first gentleman. Then he has another with the second gentleman. He finds this guy is not like the first one. So he dumps, she dumps him. Goes for another one who's maybe tall and big. He finds, oh, no, it's not the same. Choices have consequences. I'll tell you something that is very profound. God made man, Adam, gave him one wife, Eve. Why? Because he knew a man needed one wife. Or rather, because these days it's not a wife, it is sex, it is a partner. Man needed one partner. But today, because we are depending on our own knowledge, because we have gone to school and we have studied and we are educated and we are bright and we have money, we think otherwise. You say, can take out Otieno and you can take out Wambua, and you can take out Kamau. Kamau is different. Wambua is different. Otieno is different. And they give you different sex experiences. But God had meant you to have one. One. Why? You do not have anybody else to compare with. That's why we have conflicts today. So young girls and young boys, some people are tall, some people are short, some people are plump, some people are slender. It's the same way with the experiences they bring into your life. Choose. Choose you one day. It reminds me of another decision that was made at Mount Carmel by a man called Elijah. He called them, they were saying, we are serving God and we are serving the gods of the Canaanites. He told them, no, that cannot work. Choose you today. Who do you want to work for? And I'm calling young people today. Make a decision for God. Or make a decision for the devil. Serve him. Don't just be in church and you are out there. Can you choose? If you want to be a teacher and teach properly. You want to be a nurse and be a good nurse. There's a place reserved for you if you are a good nurse in heaven. I believe, even teachers. If you want to be a parent, that is, you want to have sex, then be prepared to be a parent and be a good parent for that matter. A good parent is responsible. A good parent provides. A good parent is present. If he is absent, it is for a reason that is well understood by all parties involved. Lastly, can you make a decision to serve God? You are either serving God or you are serving Satan. You cannot serve two people. It is not possible for you to be in ODM and to be in Jubilee. You know, you are actually, the politicians will call you a mole. And I think even in the Christian work, we're having moles. Like there are people who are here, but they're just spying on us. You cannot even spy on God, actually. You choose. You want to serve God, be a Christian, be chaste, live right, come to church, be present. Don't play hide and seek. You know what I see these days? Because like I told you guys, I work with young people. They come to church A, they had to break a young girl, they disappear, they go to church B, they had to break another young girl, they disappear, they go to church C, so that they are trying to cover up their problems. Your sins will find you out. Make a choice. Your decision, the decision you are making today will impact you tomorrow. It reminds me what the Bible says, that God visits the iniquity of the parents to the third and fourth generation. Can you imagine that now today as Fred, whatever I do will be visited on my children, Joseph, Faith and Bishop, and the next one God will give me. And when they get their children, again they will be carrying my problems. When they get the other ones, they will be to the third generation. Look at it like this. The corruption in this country was planted by somebody and it is being visited on us now. So unless we have a different national conversation to change it, these decisions today are going to impact the future generations. Don't do something selfishly. Do it knowing that you are doing it out of, you mean well from your heart. You're not just doing it because you are selfish. I would like to pick it up next time, if there will be a next time. But I want to give a clarion call to all young men. Make a choice. And don't forget that some decisions you make, they have consequences that are short-term and others that are permanent or long-term. It's you to choose. Choose you today. God bless you. Thank you so much.